This is the garden bed I dug last year. It is along the neighbor's line of shrubs. I think these are all spirea. That might be a lilac down there. Spirea and lilac. But when they trimmed those shrubs down, I dug out the grass and creeping Charlie that was all at the base of them and started moving some plants around. I moved those hosta from elsewhere in my yard, and I moved that salvia here from just the other side of the yard. I planted that hosta and those daylilies that I had divided other plants and moved the divisions here. I think these are some irises that I had gotten from a neighbor. I did have a foxglove there, but it looked like that died. And then this hosta, this was actually doing really well, this blue Hawaii hosta, but it got eaten down again this year, just like it did last year after I planted it. So I'll have to get a little chicken wire cylinder around it. But all in all, the weeds are creeping back in. Oh, and this is a tree peony. One of the tree peonies that I started from seed, and I transplanted that there, and that's looking great. I think I'll probably move another one. But all in all, I want to get the weeds out today, at least as much as I could before the rain comes, because it does look like it's going to rain. There's a bird up there. You can see that really ominous looking sky and hear the thunder. But here we go. And we'll see if we can get all of these weeds out. And then I put the perennials that I wanted to put here. Some of them aren't looking too great at the moment, but I'm sure they'll bounce back once they get into the ground. I've already planted these perennials. That was a hardy mum there. I planted that, and then I planted this cotton-tailed thrift right there in front. The hardy mum is doing well. It has not yet been eaten. And the thrift has also not yet been eaten. And then we'll get all these other plants in there. I think it will look really good once I get the weeds out. Once I get the plants planted, it'll be a really nice garden bed. I think we're done for the day. It's not quite finished, but I pulled a lot of weeds, a lot of creeping Charlie, planted my perennials, and then planted a lot of annuals in here too. So starting back on this side, over here on the left side of the bed, we have some cosmos annuals that I planted back there, dug out the creeping Charlie. Coming down here, that salvia is just doing wonderful. Like I said, that was a transplant from another part of my yard that's just doing great. And now here we planted some annuals, we planted some marigolds, some those little Golf Beauty, Crospedia, a little more cosmos. So I think these will be really pretty. Over here I planted agora. And then here's the first of my perennials. I planted this pink aster right here, which doesn't look like much, but it was just in the pot way too long. So I know it'll come back and be okay. So that is perennial number 1. Here is perennial number 2. This Party Girl phlox, tall garden phlox, and that was actually doing great in the pot, but it got eaten by rabbits on my patio, so that got eaten down. Back there I planted a tithonia, or a Mexican sunflower, that also looks to be in kind of bad shape, but I think it'll bounce back. Here we've got some bidens that I'll be interested to see how they do in the ground. I think that'll be fun. And then coming over here, we have new perennial number 3, which is a Rudbeckia goldsturm here that also got eaten down on the patio, so it'll probably get eaten here, but we'll just see how it goes. Over there we have a, let's see, forget what that one is. Starts with a C. Over there we have a zinnia. Here is perennial number 4, which is a coneflower white, powwow white coneflower, or echinacea. That'll be pretty. Perennial number 5, a snow station candy tuft iberis. This must have been something I planted last year, but I can't remember what that is. Over here, perennial number 6, Fama deep blue pincushion flower, scabiosa. That should be good. Has not gotten eaten, so that's a good sign. Here's my lovely iris that just finished blooming. It looked great. Number 7, another woods pink aster. I think that'll really come into its own, look a lot better now that it's in the ground. I really think it'll improve. Right there, I don't remember what that is. A couple other annuals of some miscellaneous kind that I just had around. Here, let's see, perennial number 8 would be here. Another, let's see, another Rudbeckia. We had goldsturm over there, and this is a different gold. Forgot the gold. Gold something. New perennial number 9. Here's a Kismet yellow echinacea coneflower. Boy, that one looks to be really eaten down to nothing. But, well, let's hope the rabbits leave it alone here. Number 10, fashionably early garden phlox. And that one has not gotten eaten, so that's really good. And then we planted, I think, a couple zinnias around here. And just some other annuals that I had. So all in all, I didn't quite finish the weeding. Like if you look under here, under the shrub, there's still a creeping Charlie, so I need to get at it from the other side, from my neighbor's side. But I think for one day, it looks really good. Can't wait until all these annuals bloom and really just give us so many flowers. So that's what it looks like for now. Step 1. And then next, step 2 will be I'll come out here with some mulch, and I'll mulch all of that, and then eventually I will get some edging, and then I'll do a nice edging of the garden bed. But first, for now, we'll just mulch it. But I think it looks really good. We'll keep you posted on how all these annuals flower, if they survive, if the perennials survive, since they're getting really a rough start. Should have got them in the ground a month ago rather than just leaving them sit on the porch. But I think it'll be really pretty. All right, there we go. Step 1 done. It is early September and time for an update on this garden, which is along the side of the yard right by this row of shrubs. And I planted a lot of perennials and a lot of annuals in here this year, and it's been really pretty. So here's our after tour. We'll start over here with this beautiful hardy mum that is looking great, and I'm so happy to have it. It's my favorite color and I just love it. The annuals are looking really good over here too. Some begonias, zinnias. I think this was some alyssum I planted, which really looks good, and it just looks so beautiful here. If you look back and see all the plants together, I think it's gorgeous. It's my favorite view. And then over here we have some zinnias and some nicotiana, and then some bidens, some more alyssum. This part really looks pretty. That alyssum just really took. I do have a perennial there, a coneflower, which is still alive, so hoping next year it'll really thrive. So this is, I think, the prettiest corner of this garden right now. But coming on down, we've got more zinnias, some other annuals. I see a petunia tucked in back there. Looks like some zinnias are gonna bud right here. I see the buds coming. There we have a woods pink aster it's grown a lot. It was tiny when I planted it, so it's really coming. Right there, a geranium, which is pretty. And we've got some big perennial that I planted last year, but I forgot what it was. But it's thriving. The irises up front did their thing. There's a pretty zinnia. The rudbeckia I put in is still alive. It's still holding on, so that's good. Some begonias, some calendula, some bidens. Just put that in, a party girl tall garden phlox there. And then some geraniums and some more zinnias, begonias, bidens, nasturtiums. Not really blooming right now, but it's been pretty. There's that guara. That guara has been really pretty. Really an interesting plant. I've liked that one a lot. Coming around here, got some marigolds. Looking good. I think they're looking really nice up front. Oh, we do have a bloom of a nasturtium right there. Another pink aster in there with the nasturtiums, which is still surviving and still doing okay. And then here are some new ones that I just added. I added one of these American Pie Berry a la mode dianthus right here. Here's another very pretty marigold. And then here I planted a hollyhock, which hopefully, if it doesn't get eaten, will get really tall. And I mean, I know I should have planted it in the back of the garden, but it's kind of in this empty space. I want it to get full sun between those shrubs, so I didn't want the shrubs to overtake it. So, well, I hope it'll be okay here on the edge. I can always move other things. It's a Spotlight Mars Magic hollyhock. It's going to be bright red. That'll be so pretty. I think that'll be all right. It'll just kind of like a shrub in the middle of those two shrubs, so I think there'll be one tall thing there. Hopefully it'll be all right. I can always move the daylily if need be. That hosta can kind of be shaded by it. This was the Sunstar Rose Coreopsis right there. And then this one that got eaten is the coneflower powwow wildberry. I don't know if that'll make it. I guess rabbits like to eat coneflowers. I might have to move them, but that's where they're at for now. And then, so that is this half and this view down the line. Forgot to mention this blue Hawaii hosta right here, which I planted last year, and that one should get huge, but it just keeps getting eaten every year. So I'll keep planting things around it until it does start to grow, and then I'll move the things. And this was one last new planting, which is a David garden phlox, which will also get tall. So that will look good, I think, right by that shrub. So that is it. It was a very pretty garden. I really enjoyed all the annuals that came and went. Some of them that I planted earlier got eaten. So these are the ones that survived. The rabbits really liked the geraniums, but I was able to keep a couple alive, like this one. But the rabbits really liked eating those. Oh, I forgot one thing. I wanted to show this. This is the one and only portulaca that survived out of quite a few that I planted, because the rabbits loved to eat this. So this one I think was hidden between the marigolds and it survived. But oh, I love those flowers. I think it looks so good. I love them. So if I, maybe in containers or somewhere, if I can ever keep the rabbits from eating these, I really, really like the portulaca moss rose, I think. And then otherwise, I think I covered about everything. That's what it looks like. And then looking out back here, if we look from this end towards the road, you can see that front road garden bed with the fairy garden there. And then across over here is this pretty garden bed along the retaining wall, which I'll do a video of. It has been really pretty, really fun to look at all the different plants. And I'll come up here one more time to take one more quick view of my favorite spot, which is this spot. I think because the alyssum did so well here, the zinnias are doing so well here, and that mum is the best. All right. Happy September day. Bye-bye.